welcome back to Millennial Planter. I'm Marina, the Millennial Planter, and today we are talking fungus gnats. I know a lot of people have done a lot of videos on them, and there's a lot of videos out there about them, but a lot of what people have recommended haven't worked for me, and I just really wanted to share what has really worked for me because I had a lot of questions and a lot of people sharing their struggles with me on Instagram about fungus gnats. And honestly, having houseplants and fungus gnats, like they just go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly. So let's just get into it. I'm going to name some stuff that I've seen a lot of people recommend and tell you what has worked for me and what hasn't. Okay, so first and foremost, fungus gnats are these little black flies, like fruit flies almost, pretty much, that like to lay their eggs in moist soil. So if you're an overwaterer, you probably experience them a lot. Me. And let me tell you, these guys spread like wildfire. At first, I wasn't really worried about them because I saw a couple here and there. And then all of a sudden they are flying in my coffee and flying into my phone and flying all up in my face holes, literally up my nose. Like that is not an exaggeration. The females can lay up to 30 to 200 eggs at once. Like that's a very vast number difference. I'm not 100% sure if that's accurate, but they can lay a lot of eggs and they can produce generations over the course of a year. Their life cycle, they go from egg to larva to pupa to adulthood, and in that time it only takes 3 to 4 weeks, so it's not a lot at all. And understanding the life cycle can really give you an idea of how to treat your plants and mainly how often to treat your plants. And the good thing about fungus gnats is they're kind of the best pest to have around because the adults really don't do anything but harass your personal space. The larva can feed on some plant roots though, which kind of sucks. They can stunt the growth of your plants. They can cause yellowing and falling leaves. And that's really only if you have like a bad infestation and they really don't have much to feed on. So it's not really common that they'll get that bad, but it's definitely something to just keep in mind. At the end of the day, they are just annoying, and you will see them crawling on your pot sometimes, crawling on the soil, and it's just kind of gross. A lot of people recommend giving your plant a chance to dry out because, like I mentioned, the fungus gnats like to lay their eggs in moist soil. So if you're waiting longer in between waterings and letting the soil dry out more, then they're not going to want to lay their eggs there. However, I have some Hoyas that I definitely let their soil dry out, and I've seen fungus gnats in them, and I just think that's because they are with my other tropical plants. And like I said, the gnats got pretty bad, so I think they were just kind of going anywhere that they wanted to go. And so I guess just depending on how bad your gnat problem is, like they will even go into dry soil. So now let's just start on the list of how to get rid of them and what has worked for me. First thing I tried was horticultural spray. I tried a neem oil spray and a pesticide type of spray similar to like a horticulture spray, and honestly none of that worked. Like it had zero effect on my fungus gnat problem, and they were just getting worse. They were just thriving on me misting and soaking the soil because, you know, that goes back to the whole moist soil thing. And yeah, so that did zero effect. Next, I tried this systemic that a lot of people recommend, and I do caution you to handle it with care. Be mindful of using a systemic, and it is by Bonide. And basically they're like little granules, it's like a powder kind of almost. And you mix it in with your soil, or some people even top dress their soil with it. And it's supposed to be absorbed by the roots, and it basically poisons any sort of thing, any sort of pests that are feeding on the foliage or that crawl into the soil. And that did kind of work for me. I saw maybe a little bit of a decrease in the population, but not really much, not really like a drastic change. I did, however, have one of my friends tell me that she top dressed the soil pretty thoroughly with the benide, and I didn't try that, but honestly I don't want to. That's just too much for me, and I have little hands around and I don't want them accidentally touching that. So I mainly just mixed it in my soil, and like I said, I saw a little bit of a difference, but not much. Then I actually started using Mosquito Bits, which a lot of people have recommended. And Mosquito Bits basically have this bacterium called BTI, and BTI is what targets mosquitoes and fungus gnats and black flies, which is amazing because they don't target any other organisms, and it's really awesome. You basically soak it in your water for about 5 minutes, or you could do it overnight and water your plants with them, and you can even mix it into your soil, but honestly, like, they get kind of moldy in the soil and like they'll float to the top, and it's just not the best. But I water my plants with them, and I started to see less after probably 2 to 3 waterings. It wasn't an instant thing, so it's definitely something I incorporate in my waterings now pretty regularly. So my number one tip for you when it comes to fungus gnats, and this has helped me so much, is hydrogen peroxide. And I was using it for a while, probably once a month, maybe a little longer, and then the pandemic happened and I couldn't find hydrogen peroxide anywhere. Like, come on people, hydrogen peroxide is not going to help you. So I was really annoyed, and that is when my fungus gnat problem got horrible. Hydrogen peroxide has helped tenfold. I've seen some people say it didn't work, but I don't know. I'm kind of confused by that because I honestly swear by it. I did equal parts of water and hydrogen peroxide in my watering can and watered my plants with them, and it has worked amazing instantly. So when you're watering your plants, and I haven't seen a lot of people mention this, and when I did it, it was kind of like, it was weird. I was like, is this normal? But your plants, your soil gets kind of poofy. And if you think about it, when you use hydrogen peroxide like on a cut and you see it kind of bubble over, it's kind of the same effect on your houseplants, but the soil just gets poofy. I don't know, it's weird to explain, but if you do it, you know what I mean, and it's normal, I guess. I don't know. It happened to me and my plants are fine. The only thing that I have heard about it is that the hydrogen peroxide kind of depletes the soil of good and bad bacteria. I'm not like 100% sure on that, so like if you know, let me know in the comments. So definitely on your next watering, I would recommend to fertilize and just kind of bring all of that back into the soil, all those good nutrients. The hydrogen peroxide helps so much. I saw such a huge difference, and now I don't have adult fungus gnats harassing my face in my coffee. Stay away from the coffee, please. By the way, everything I mention here is going to be linked down below if you want to give any of these a try. The last bit that I was hesitant to use because I heard they didn't really help that much, but it's these beautiful fungus gnat trap things. I'm not sure what they're called. Sticky tape? I don't know. But they're super sticky and they catch all the adult flying gnats. As you can see, it's really, I mean, who doesn't love looking at some dead fungus gnats? They come in a pack of about 12, I think, and I put them everywhere, and honestly, within hours, I saw fungus gnats. And it was oddly satisfying, but mainly because now I don't see them flying anywhere, and it's amazing. Apparently, they're attracted to the bright yellow colors, which I don't really understand how, but I mean, it works. So definitely recommend. I have heard in the past that they don't help at all, and they mainly just tell you what plants are infected, and that's very true. They can definitely help you figure out what plant is the most infected, but honestly, I have seen so many less gnats flying around, and it's amazing. I mean, like night and day difference, because with the hydrogen peroxide, I saw a huge decrease, but I still saw some that were flying around because the hydrogen peroxide isn't going to help the ones that are already flying in the air, obviously. So these really help get them, and I just put like 1 or 2 in a couple pots around an area, and they just fly to it, and it's amazing. So I really recommend them, but be careful because it will rip your plants. I kind of ripped the tip of my new leaf on my variegated monstera, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, just use them with caution. Be careful. Don't rip new unfurling leaves on your plants with them. Oh, and I just looked at that one and it has an actual fly and it is so gross. I will say the 2 things I haven't tried is ladybugs. A lot of people say ladybugs help, and they really don't target the larva because the larva's in the soil. So they mainly will target stuff that's like on the foliage because that's where they are. And honestly, I don't want 300 ladybugs flying around my house. I have a really small house, like really small, and I just don't want ladybugs flying around. Ladybugs in like mass quantities kind of creep me out. And the second thing is like diatomaceous earth, and I haven't given that a try, but I feel like topping the soil with diatomaceous earth is just messy, and I'll probably have to redo it every time I water, and that just seems like a hassle. People also have recommended like sand or gravel, and I kind of feel like sand and the DE are kind of hand in hand, where you have to do it every single time, and that just sounds like more of a mess that I'm not willing to deal with. And I don't see how putting stones on top of the soil will help, because fungus gnats are little and they're determined. They want to make those generations, they want to make babies, they want to lay eggs, and I could just see them easily getting underneath the rocks. So I don't know, I don't really think that's gonna work. And that, my friends, is how I kind of got rid of fungus gnats and how I'm kind of winning the battle. I hope this information and I hope my tips were able to help you out a little bit. Like I said, just to try anything. Like some stuff that I said didn't work for me have worked for others, and vice versa. But as always, let me know in the comments below what has worked for you and what hasn't worked for you. Maybe somebody else can see your tips and help them out. I do hope you all give this video a thumbs up, and definitely please subscribe to see future videos, to see more houseplant videos. I'm really awkward at ending these videos, so I will see you all in my next video. Bye!